I might use the name of the player and then say something like, let's fly here.
But it also happens to be release week. I just couldn't help but think, as you're on commentary, that you and Stuart Robson, do you have to go back into the studio every year and record everything? Are there some lines in commentary that they keep year to year, or is it you start fresh every time?
No, I think it's fair to say that there's an archive of things that Stuart and I have done down the years on the video game, and it's a matter of refreshing as necessary. Sometimes refreshing lines just to make them sound a little bit more up to date, because we don't want people necessarily hearing the same things all the time. And of course, there are new categories and new styles of doing things as well. So we go into each session not knowing exactly what we're going to be doing that day. We'll have a vague idea, and then we take it from there. But yeah, a lot of it is, things that we did maybe 4 or 5 years ago that just need a small refresh.
Do you have a favorite line of commentary that you recorded, either for this year's game or in general? Is there one you look back on fondly?
It's a good question, because it's interesting. When I talk to people who play the game, and I've noticed this especially in the last year or so, I'm not quite sure why in the last year, people seem to notice this a lot more and recognize us a lot more. And in the past, maybe our voices got recognized, but I'm noticing more and more that our faces are being picked up on. That applies to Stuart as well, because I was at quite a few games with him during the summer, and that definitely was the case. But people who play the game will pick out lines that, for me, are maybe not all that memorable, or maybe just something I did as a throwaway, because this is the thing. I do a line once. I don't know how many times it's going to get played in the game, or how many times a particular player is going to be exposed to that line. But the one line that people seem to keep reminding me about is a line that I do. It's sort of something I would do organically in a game. If somebody takes a long shot, a shot from, say, I don't know, 25 meters out from well outside the penalty area, then, I might use the name of the player and then say something like, let's fly here. And that's one that I did once, I think, and it made its way into the game. And I now have a whole host of people, mostly younger people, who, when I walk past them, will shout, let's fly here. And I think some of them maybe slightly misunderstand the context of it. I'm not saying let's fly as in a bird or a plane. I'm saying, player X, let's fly. Oh, let's fly. Or she lets fly. And so that one, I think, has maybe become my line more than any other.
Yeah, one I hear people repeat is, I think it's the crossbar is still reverberating. Or
that one as well.
Yeah, something similar to that. I'm also wondering,
well.
a lot of the real-life pros play this game. Have you ever heard from a player that they loved your commentary about them in FIFA? Because some of these guys, they're 21 years old like I used to be, and they play a lot of EAFC.
All I can say is I had a really good time with a couple of the Leverkusen players a few months ago when I was helping them make something for social media, and they invited me in to the stadium one day, and I did a little sort of mock commentary session on the video game with Mate Kovar, who is their reserve goalkeeper, good goalkeeper, played a lot in Europe and in the DFB Pokal last season, so a big part of the double winning story. And also Borja Iglesias, who I can tell you is a real gamer. He's somebody who takes the video game very seriously, mostly in Spanish. Plays it, of course, in Spanish, in his native language. But I had a great time with him. And he was very nice to me. And he immediately said, oh, yeah, I've been listening to your voice for a long, long time. I know your voice. And now I know your face. And it was funny when I was there for the not the clinching of the title, but the presentation of the Meisterschale, which was in May, the game against Augsburg. I was walking down from the commentary position, and then, as you do at Leverkusen, you walk through the tunnel to get out. And the first person I passed was Borja Iglesias, and he just sort of looked me in the eye, gave me a big hug. And it was just based on that meeting and based on the fact that he was able to, I think from his point of view, put a face to the voice that he'd heard. So, yeah, only a couple of exposures, really, because we don't generally get all that close to the players these days.